Hello there and welcome to another edition of Robot Wars Unveiled. This time we're going to have a look at Series 8 Heat C. I hope you enjoy. Despite the lack of seedings or reference to the previous series, all 5 heats of Series 8 featured semi-finalists from the 7th Wars. In Heat C, it was Dan Tomkier. Dan Tomkier always fought in Heat C in all of its main championship appearances. This episode marked the 3rd time within 2 series that Dan Tomkier and King Buxton fought in a first round melee together, and the 2nd time in a row without they qualified together in the main competition. Heat C marked the 1st time in the series that the winner qualified without losing the battle, or without having a judge's decision. Armakillo was supposed to compete in the first battle of this episode, while Doomba and Crackers and Smash had both been named as robots drafted in the 2nd melee, but all these robots withdrew and were replaced with Overdozer and TR2 respectively. Half of the competing robots in Heat C were light enough to comply within the 100 kg weight limit of Series 5 to 7. Despite being the most frequent house robot in the reboot series, Shunt makes no appearance at all in this episode. Monte and Turbulence from the pilot episode made cameo appearances. This episode marked one of the few times that 2 FRA champions fought each other, this being TR2 and Big Nipper. Glitterbomb is literally just a redesigned Hedgehog. Glitterbomb team captain James Baker had previously brought a robot to Series 7, with his tech check being completed by King Davies. However, the name and weight class of this robot has never been identified. Although Glitterbomb's VT would go unused on television in its entirety, various clips from it were used in the opening sequence of Series 8, such as April performing in High Kick. Glitterbomb is the first known instance of a robot being designed from information from the Robot Wars wiki. According to the team member Rachel Prince, April used the wiki to discern what has been done by previous users and what colours and weapons look best, before drawing initial sketches from that research. Glitterbomb was to compete in Series 9 armed with twin axes, and would have appeared in Heat E, but it withdrew due to being overweight. TR2 is the only robot from Series 8 to qualify from its heat with full 9 points, not requiring a single judge's decision. TR2 is one of few newcomers to have won a heat and face a veteran in every single battle. The pneumatic ram by Orte was originally utilised by Bulldog in the first season of the BattleBots reboot. Orte was originally going to be called Bigger Brother 2. King Bee Remix was the first robot to fly the flag of 2 different countries, in this case the United Kingdom's Union Jack and Japan's national flag Nishoki. Orte attempted to qualify for Series 9 and 10. In Series 10 it had interchangeable weaponry, but it still failed to qualify. King Buxton is the only robot to go from having more wins than losses to having more losses than wins after returning for the reboot. King Bee is one of 4 machines to be thrown out the arena by both a competitor and a house robot, Dan Tomkier and Matilda respectively. It shares this with Stinger, Vader and Napalm. Dan Tomkier has qualified for more melees than any other robot without losing a melee itself, having fought in 7 different melees without being eliminated. In every episode that Dan Tomkier featured in, there was at least one battle where a robot was thrown out of the arena. In 4 out of 6 episodes, Dan Tomkier flipped a robot itself, and in one of them, it was thrown out itself. This is the only time Dan Tomkier failed to bypass the heat. Dan Tomkier was handed over to Team Slam and attempted to qualify for Series 9, where sadly they failed to qualify. And that is it for today. Now, Heat C, a lot of Heat Cs in the past have always been kind of, they've always seemed to be like the weaker of the first batch of heats, if that makes sense. There's a few, exceptions here and there. If I recall, Series 3 Heat C is a really good heat. I think that one is a really good heat. You got some good ones here and there, but for the most part, Heat Cs are always seemingly the weakest of the batch, so to speak. You always had like sort of extra bits of robots like thrown into this particularly. It's always like, obviously the first few episodes have to like make an impact. The first episode has to be the most exciting in a way to gravitate and to grab people's attention. The second heat, it can be a bit more, like today's call, but it can also feature a really powerful robot. You mostly see this in a lot of the previous seasons of Robot Wars, where Heat A would probably feature the reigning champion. It kicks a bunch of ass here and there, and then Heat B would be where you have a really big all-star, such as Hypnodisc, or in Series 8's case it was 4. And so Heat C, was always given like the extra batch. Here's just an average heat, for the first few. And I think that's why a lot of people seem to look down on Heat Cs in general. And Series 8 Heat C, to a lot of people, is weakest heat of Series 8. I have some, I don't really agree necessarily. The reason why is because Series 8 as a whole feels the most Robot Warsy of the 3 rebooted seasons, and this heat, I'll be honest, it feels like it feels very much like a Robot Wars heat. I'm stuttering like mad, but it feels very much like a Robot Wars heat. It has the flipper action, it has the disc action, it has robots just being burnt on the flame pit by Sakilolot. It's got all that bits. It's gotten out of the arena. This is the first episode, in fact, with an out of an arena. And so it's really fascinating in that sense because it feels very much like a classic heat in a way. And I quite like it. The battles as well aren't that bad in this heat either. I think the round robin here works sort of well because you don't really have a powerful spin involved that just decimates one or three of the two competitors, and as a result everyone just is limping their way through. It's a lot more slower, methodical, which I like. That said, the big thing that I was alluding to previously is what happens with Overdozer. Now, Overdozer is a wooden robot, it's petrol driven, it was there to be destroyed. And obviously, you'd think, because it's there to be destroyed, they'd put it in the battle with Supernova, a very powerful flywheel. But instead they don't. And I felt that is just such a missed opportunity. You could have had, this blaze of glory where, you could have still had like Dan Tonkia there or someone else there, or I don't know, but all it took was just having Supernova in the same battle as Overdozer. It doesn't matter, and it would have been a million times better than having Dan Tonkia just flip Overdozer a few times and then just flipping the one piece of wood over and over again, which is a real shame because I think that's just a missed opportunity, and the reboot is full of missed opportunities, and it's like all it took was a little decision making just to tweak it a bit, and you could have had something beautiful. It's classic reboot missed opportunity. TR2, great robot. I've actually seen the team. I even got a signed autograph on them. And Big Nipper. I love the look of Big Nipper's little disc here. And the battle between Dan Tomke is a really good battle as well. King B, great to see again. Saw them last year as we're recording this, and it's just like this heat has a lot of like classical elements to it, which makes it somewhat charming in my opinion. So let's have a look at what we get next time around. So the next up is the War for Independence, the Series 4 one, the closest we ever got to Robot Wars versus BattleBots in my opinion. I love this special and I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you next time around.